Hello, I am back home again. So the last time we spoke, I was sat in a field in Ireland in Kilkenny on my birthday. And now um, I'm back home. I've been home. I flew home the next day, flew home on Monday. So I had my birthday celebrations, not really celebrations. I've never really been one for birthday celebrations, if I'm honest. I'll spend it with people I like. And, it's always nice to get gifts. That's for sure. I also like giving gifts. I really do like giving gifts. People don't think that about me for some reason. No matter how many times I tell people that, they always say, "Oh no, you love receiving gifts rather than giving." And no, I like both. I do. I like giving and receiving. I'd say equally, because I don't know why. Because I think just as much I do get joy out of that, but people for some reason don't believe me when I say that. But I love giving someone a good present. Anyway, so I had some birthday celebrations the week before, because I was going to be in Ireland. I went over to my parents on the bank holiday Monday with my sister there, with my nephews and nieces, and nephew. That was just one nephew and nieces. And what happened was, Walker, my nephew, he made me a card, because I make people cards. He made me a card, very funny, very nice. My sister didn't give me a present because she said it's not actually your birthday yet. It's not actually your birthday, so you don't actually get a present yet. So I don't know when I'm going to get that, or if. I'll keep you posted. But my mum and dad did give me some of the presents. I got a bottle of whiskey, Bullet, one of my favourites. Just checking this camera's at the right level. And I got, oh God, what else did they get me? A book I asked for called Horsemen Pass By, which is by Larry McMurtry, who wrote Lonesome Dove. And I think it was the first book he ever wrote. And it became the film HUD. He sold it for $10,000. So so I got that. And they got me a Toblerone. My mum always gets me a Toblerone. I say they, but I think my mum does a lot of the heavy lifting with the presents. Sometimes you can tell my dad is sort of watching me open the present, and you can tell he's thinking, I don't know what this is going to be. There's a bit of that. In fact, when I opened it, he said, "Oh, what's the story behind that then? What's that about?" And then I told him why I knew of the book and what it was. So yeah, I don't think he had any idea. However, my mum also said, one of your presents hasn't arrived yet. She said a present hasn't arrived. So I said, okay, that's nice. I get to stretch it out because I've had my present before, now I have it after. Because I'm going there tomorrow for my cousin's wedding. So, is that a film? My cousin's wedding. No, I think I've got it confused with my cousin Vinny and my best friend's wedding. Lovely crossover. So what happened was, then the next day, my dad texted me the sort of celebration. You know, my dad uses a lot of that emoji that's got the purple hat on and is sort of blowing a celebration thing. What are they called, those things? Sort of like a, when you blow it like that and then a bit of ribbon go. You don't really see them much anymore, do you? It's the only time you see one really is on that emoji. Really. I can't get the camera right. Sorry, if you're listening to this, it won't make any sense. But if you're watching, I just keep moving the camera around a bit. I'm not quite happy with where it is. But he texted me the two celebration emojis. And it was a box, and the box had Wisconsin, Green Bay. Now, I'm a fan of the Green Bay Packers. So I said, what's that about? Now, I don't know if he didn't know that I didn't know. Huh? I don't know if he didn't know that. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know whether he doesn't know that I don't know that what we were waiting on was a present to do with the Green Bay Packers. So I texted him back and said, what's that about? And he said, Oh, it's just turned up at my office. So I think that was him quickly trying to sort of backpedal and go, oh no. Clearly what's happened is, because they never know when they're going to be at home, my dad will get presents that they'll arrange the presents to be delivered to his work. So this is one of the presents he has done some of the work on, I think. And what he's done there is made the mistake of actually just sending me the present, a photo of the present when he wasn't meant to. I think that's what's happened. However, I will find out if it's nothing to do with that. If it's nothing to do with that, I will then, be amazed that this box that has Green Bay written on it has ended up at my dad's work. So I think it might be something to do with Green Bay, which, hey, I'm very excited about. Can't imagine what it is. It's quite a big box. Very exciting. Yeah. Don't know what they would have gone for there. So yeah, I'll find out. I'll find out tomorrow or Sunday. So tomorrow, so it's Friday. I'm recording this on Friday because I'm leaving shortly. I've got 2 gigs tonight. I've been talking about these gigs on this podcast for weeks. I never think about a gig until like a day before. And this one, there's 2 tonight. And I think it keeps coming up on the podcast. Anyway, I've got them tonight, 2 tonight. Then tomorrow is my cousin's wedding. My cousin Laura. So she's getting married. I think the ceremony, or you have to be there at 12:30. Ceremony starts at 1, which is early, isn't it? Sort of, because that's a. I guess it's your wedding day. You want to make the most of it, and she is spending, because they always say, in a wedding invite, for some reason it says carriages at. I remember seeing it when I was younger, and must have been one of the first weddings I remember going to. Would have been my Uncle David's. I was a page boy. They're not married anymore, but I remember reading carriages, and I'd seen Cinderella, so I pictured that we were all going to be leaving in these sort of domed carriages on big wheels led by horses. Just a taxi. But anyway, how did I get to that? Yeah, so carriages at 11. So you have to be there at 12:30. We're spending 10, 11 hours together. And it would be nice. So the other thing is actually about this wedding is the dress code, Laura said, is she said, we don't want it to be too formal and stuffy, so it's casual. Wear whatever makes you comfortable. Now, when I found that out, which was actually last week, I hadn't read the invite properly. So when we were over my mum and dad's for my birthday, I was reading the wedding invite, and then because somebody had told me that was the dress code, and I was in shorts and t-shirt, so I went, oh great, and then I was quickly shut down, going, it doesn't quite mean that, which I guess. I don't really have smart shorts. I don't like wearing smart shorts. I don't like the look of them. So yeah, I was thinking maybe my shorts that I was just wearing and maybe like a shirt, but that was shut down. So I don't know what it means. So I'm wearing, to the ceremony, I'm wearing trousers, blue trousers. They're these blue trousers that I actually wear with trainers sometimes. They go well with their trainers and a tucked in t-shirt. So they are smart casual, depends what you do with them. Anyway, tomorrow I'm doing shoes and a light blue shirt and a tie for the ceremony. However, I'm going to suss everyone out. What are you doing here? How have you interpreted this dress code? Because what I'm going to take with me is a spare, slightly more relaxed top, polo-esque top, and some white trainers, but they are like, I wear New Balance trainers a lot. I used to wear Reebok a lot, but I recently made the big move over. I had a bit of both, Reebok, New Balance, and I found New Balance which just looked a bit better with the jeans, so I've got New Balance. Not tomorrow. I actually bought they're white Tommy Hilfiger, so it's just white. It just says a bit Tommy Hilfiger, just small, written on the side, a little logo. But I think they're like, you could wear it to, I'd wear them to Wimbledon. And I think, so it's a June wedding, summer. I guess most weddings are in the summer, but I think they're going to be in the car in case I can get changed into them. Because, I mean, I'm like Beyonce. I can't believe I'm going to a wedding and I'm the one that's sort of got some costume changes set up. But you just want to be prepared for these things. So, yeah, no, it will be nice. Nice for Laura's wedding. She's I've got a lot of cousins. Am I going to rank them? No. But Laura knows where she is. She's the one that she went travelling when we were younger. She's a few years older than me. How many years older? 4 or 5. But when she went travelling, she lent me her car. I didn't own my own car. She said, "Why don't you just have this one while I'm away?" Lovely. Had a car. Drove it around. Went over to my sister's one day, a few months later. Went to my sister's for my niece's birthday. I walk in. Who's there? Laura. She's come back to surprise everybody. Everyone was very happy, apart from me, because I've just lost a car. But no, it was still good to see her. But yeah. She came back as a surprise. Maybe she must have come back early. Well, it was certainly early for me. 12 minutes in, I'm going to have my first sip of my cup of tea. Actually, 14 minutes in. It's just right, though. So yeah, I got back from Ireland on the Monday. And then, I'll tell you what happened. It was, I had it in the diary, on my diary. It said, this is in my calendar, like Google Calendar that my agents have access to. So they sort of, they put stuff in there so you can see everything. The information said, picked up from the hotel at 10:30. That's what it said in there. 10:30 a.m. pick up from the hotel. Now, I'd heard a few people saying, 10 a.m. tomorrow, you're getting picked up at 10 tomorrow. So as I got into bed, I thought, I don't know about this 10:30. I don't believe it. I've heard people saying 10. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to be ready to go at 10, and I either have half an hour to relax, or he's going to be there, the driver. So I'm still moving this camera around a bit. Sorry if you're watching this. I think that's right. Anyway, 5 minutes to 10, my hotel room phone rings, and a lady says, "There's a driver down here for you." Now, I know it's like, it's a bigger, it's like almost like a minibus, I guess, that's taken a few comedians to the airport, because they brought us from the airport to the hotels. So in my mind, I didn't know which order I was being picked up in. So I thought, what if I go down and there's a car full of comedians all going, "Oh, we had to wait for Jake." So I rushed a bit more than I would have done. I go down there. I'm the first that's being picked up. My hotel was different to others. I did Kilkenny Festival 3 years earlier, and I got the same hotel, so I was very happy about that. So I was in a different hotel, just around the corner. I knew where theirs was. It wasn't far at all, like 300 metres. But I was the first. So he was going to I was going to get in, and we were going to drive around the corner to there. So I knew, because I could make a cup of tea in the shop across the way, that also sold like a protein bar that I'd been having as my breakfast. Which I know sounds bleak, but it's because then I just have to have egg on toast later for lunch, and then at dinner. So I only have to have 2 meals when I'm away from home. Anyway, I've always eaten out 3 times in a day. Anyway, I say anyway a lot, don't I? That could have been a name for this podcast. Anyway, ... I said to him, "You're just going around the corner, aren't you? I'm going to run across, I'll get a tea, and then I will meet you there." Luckily, he said okay, because I knew this driver. He'd been a bit of a stickler for rules before. Basically, what happened was, when we got to Ireland, he was the driver we were meeting. And we were all ready to go, but he said, I've got to wait for this other one act." And we said, "Oh no, that act isn't on the plane. They're already in Ireland." He said, "I can't leave here until my boss has told me that." So we went on his Instagram story, not the drivers, the comedians, and said, "Look, here he is. He's posted that he's in Kilkenny. He's just done a video like an hour before." And he was like, "I can't leave." And so I was like, "Well, there's no physical..." Okay. So we just had to wait for him to get this call, and then we went. So I thought he might be a bit funny about that. Anyway, he was fine. So I went and got a tea, went round the corner, and I could see that we were all getting into I'm going to call it a minibus. We're all getting into the minibus. So there's two seats up front next to the driver, then there's three at the back. Now on the way up, I'd been in the middle on the left, and I could see other people milling around, putting their suitcases in. And I thought, if I get into that van, minibus, I've just said I was going to call it a minibus, and I called it a van for some reason. Anyway, I thought, if I get in there early, I'm in the back right. I don't want that, because that's not where I was sat before. So I watched three get in, and I said, okay, you three filled the back. Then I saw Roger get in, and he went over the far right, which is where he was sat before. So he's on the far right. And then Thor, that's his real name, he's from Norway, he's a comedian. He, on the way up, he'd been sat next to me in the middle. And I was about to get in, and I saw Thor, and I said, oh, Thor, do you want to go and sit in the middle? Because then we've got the same order that we were in on the way up. And luckily he was up for that, so I got to have my seat back. So yeah, that was fine. And we got to spend the day together with everyone. And then when we got back to London, everyone was getting the train into London, and I into more central London from Heathrow. I got a car back to mine. I'd done enough socialising. So time to sort of switch up and have some time to myself. Why was I telling you that? Why did I start telling you that? Oh, that's my week, I guess. Then Tuesday was... so Monday I got home, so I had some birthday presents. Got some books, 2 books. Started reading one of them. I got a book by Celeste Ng. Called, I think it's called Our Lost Hearts. I think it's called that. Anyway, it's good. I previously read her Little Fires Everywhere book, and I really enjoyed that. Read that in 2019. And then tried to watch the TV version of it, but I didn't quite get along with that. But yeah, I'm liking that book. And I also got another book, which is another Western book. Got some records, got World Cup, so World Cup Panini sticker season. They actually got me the wrong one. The present I got was actually something to do with like a card swapping game, so it was actually not right. So, bit of a complaint, but in a polite way, just let you know that isn't what you thought you were getting me. And a game of Top Trumps. Love Top Trumps. This one's Creatures of the Deep. Love a game of Top Trumps. I might take it to the wedding tomorrow. Like I could play with my nephew and nieces there. Then Tuesday I had a gig down in Shoreham, which is near Brighton. Went down there. Did a gig, working up new stuff now. I think the plan's going to be... So, the US tour I think might actually be starting next year now. I think that's the plan. Which means I would have been on this one tour for 3 years. Then the following year I'll start the next tour in April. And then do April in Australia. I think I'll start it in Australia and New Zealand. That's the plan. That's, what year is that? 2028 though, so let's not think about that right now. But that's been my week, really. Some exciting stuff happened, but I can't really talk about it now, which is not a really helpful thing for you to listen to. Probably more annoying than nice. But I've got meetings this week. There was like a contract thing was sorted, so it meant I could send something over. This is all very broad, isn't it, what I'm saying? But it's stuff to do with sitcom stuff. So it's exciting. And it means exciting news will be coming soon. And I'll actually be able to talk in sort of facts and not sort of around it while sort of delivering nothing to you at the same time. And I was really tired this week. Blimey, what day was that? Monday. Monday I got back and I slept... I think because of travelling anyway, and then being away in Ireland, a couple of late nights and being out of my routine, meant that when I got home, I was really tired on the Monday, but I pushed through and I stayed awake, slept, and I must have woken up at I don't even know what time it was. 9 o'clock in the morning, I think. And I got up, I went up, came into the back room, this room I'm in now. I've got a sofa there, and my eyes felt so heavy, so tired. So I thought, I just can't wake up. So I'm just going to just lay down for a moment. And then I was having the most surreal, when you wake up and go back to sleep, your dreams are surreal. I dreamt that I was like in this room, but I wasn't sleeping on the sofa. I was curled up on the coffee table. And I was there, and I would open my eyes. My eyes were so heavy, and I was so tired. I kept opening my eyes and going, no, I need to go back to sleep. And I woke up at 12:30, 3.5 hours later of just doing this real deep, can't shake it off sleep. So Monday was an absolute write-off. I had plans to go to the gym, and did I do anything? Oh no, Tuesday. This was Tuesday, sorry, I meant Tuesday. Yeah, I was going to go to the gym, didn't do that. Maybe I went for a walk, if that. God, it was so weird. Something had got me. It was like, it's like I'd taken a sleeping tablet. But yeah, I just could not wake up. And every time I opened my eyes, it was like, nope, shut them again. And I was gone again for hours. Really strange. Wednesday, what day is it today? Friday. Wednesday, oh yeah, that Tuesday was the day I had that gig. Wednesday. I don't think I left the house on Wednesday. I don't think I left the house. No, I didn't. I was just been really tired. I don't know what it was or where it came from. It was like almost like I was getting ill, but I wasn't. I wasn't ill. I felt fine, but I just had very low energy and I was really tired. So I filmed a reel. I think I filmed a reel on Wednesday. What was it? Dog owners, when people have a dog, when you go to their house and they've got a dog. Yeah. So I filmed that. I slowed down my how I was posting for a while. I was sort of doing it for over like every 10 days, but I've got I'm enjoying it at the minute, so I'm going to try and do a few more. I just think while I've got some time off, if I could do one every 5 days, that's a bit more momentum, because the follower count, sometimes it stops for a bit. I remember when I got to my first 100,000, it just stopped. And it really climbed up, 100,000, 100,000. I'm not sure if it's like how Instagram works with how many people it will show it to at a time. Although actually some of the views were getting more than that. But I think if I'd started posting these videos during COVID, it would be different because people were so desperate for entertainment. I did not ride the COVID wave. I started posting videos in 2023. So I think people were still following them, but now it's hard. You could get a video. So I'll show you as an example. Sorry if this isn't... Oh my goodness. So I've just got some crazy breaking news that's come up on Sky News. Astronauts ordered to shelter and prepare for potential evacuation on the International Space Station. Follow latest. Over air leaks. There's an air leak in the space station. Russian cosmonaut attempted to fix air leak as the astronauts shelter in their spacecraft aboard the International Space Station, preparing for a potential evacuation. A Russian crew member is trying to fix the air leak. It's like a film, it's like Keanu Reeves. The worsening air leak is taking place on a portion of the orbital laboratory, NASA said. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Will that be a film in a few years? Hopefully they survive. You can see the International Space Station sometimes. If you ever look up... Sorry, I sort of really slurred my words like I was drunk then. You can see the International Space Station sometimes. If you look up at night, and you will see maybe... You're not sure if it's like a meteor. Meteor? Yeah, meteor still outside the atmosphere. Like, I've got a Sky View app. What's it called? Sky View. And sometimes you can see it's a bit bigger than most sort of meters, so you can see it travelling across. Sometimes they're just other satellites, but if I check the app, it shows me where the space station is. Because the International Space Station orbits the Earth every hour and a half. So I think they see 18 sunsets and sunrises in every 24 hours. Hour and a half it takes them to orbit the Earth. So you see it often. So if I see it tonight, I'll think about them. Blimey. What was I about to do? What on earth was I about to do? Because I must have did I pick up my phone for something? Yeah. Oh, that's going to be so annoying for you if you're listening. Sorry, because I don't know what that was. I don't know what I was saying. I've got no idea. I went to did I must have picked it up for something. Oh, that was it. I was going to show you. Luckily, I remembered. That would have been so annoying for you. Gonna move the camera one more time. That's better. I'm going to show you. Oh yeah, what I was going to say was if a video sort of goes viral, you know what? Let's consider viral. How many followers do you get off the back of it? I think you can have a look. You can show you that information here. Okay, so one of my biggest ones, and this was the biggest. I remember some comedians messaging me after this video went off because it must have been someone who was like checking my profile often for my followers, because I remember they messaged me and said, have you just had like a huge influx of followers? Because yours has gone off like crazy. And I had a video. So this video got 22 million views. This was one about posted holiday photos. You remember like the captions people do. So I posted this almost 2 years ago when I was in Greece. So you can do insights. So that had 22 million views. Have a number now what you think that would get as a following from 22 million views. The watch time of that is 11 years overall. People spent 11 years, 209 days watching it. So it says 22 million views. However, what it's showing me here is accounts reached 13 million. So, quite a few people would have watched it twice then. Anyway, that brought in 64,000 people. 64,000 watched that video and then followed me. So that's from 22 million views. This tiny percentage that actually follow off the back of it. So you have to do a lot of work, but I reckon that must have been different in the COVID times. I think it would have been different. I think people were like desperate for it, and also it would have been like the start of this whole content thing, wouldn't it? So anyway, so when I got to 100,000, it stopped, and it was so hard to even get to 101,000. Just took ages. And then same at 500,000. Sorry, is this relatable or likable? Maybe not. But anyway, when you hit a thing. So anyway, it'd be nice to get to 1 million. So I've got 1 million followers. That would be cool. I mean, I have, if you count, but you'd have to add. I think if I added TikTok to it, but I don't really use TikTok. I think there's only about 160 or 70,000 followers on there. So, which I know is a lot, obviously, but I just mean compared to Instagram, it's not the same. But Instagram's the best one anyway. TikTok's weird. If I don't go on TikTok for ages and I post a video, it'll just let about 4,000 people see it, then it's done. Also, I saw a post the other day, a lady saying that she used to work at TikTok. She said, even if when you post, you're on Wi-Fi and TikTok can sense that your Wi-Fi is also being taken up by something else, maybe you're watching Netflix, it will punish you because it knows you're not fully focused on TikTok. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's gross. Anyway, yeah, I prefer Instagram. Instagram's the one, I think. You're watching this on YouTube, aren't you? YouTube's the ultimate. It sounds like I'm lying now, but on YouTube's the one that's it's been there for like 20 years and it's never wavered. It's never gone through any crazy political thing where the owners are bad. I don't know who owns it, but just YouTube is the ultimate one, but it's the toughest. It's the hardest one for sure. I posted one stand-up clip and that did well on there and that brought in a lot of people, but these videos, this is just the video version of my podcast, so it's not really going to get crazy views anyway. Just sort of me sat, not a single edit, just sort of sat talking to myself for an hour. But I'm going to start a new show. I talked about this a bit last week. I'm going to have a new show called Be My Guest. That's what I'm going to do, I think. I'm in an iron before about whether to put guests on this on a Thursday and call it Be Rude Not To. But I've had an idea for a show called Be My Guest, and I might do a separate thing. So I was going to do that this week, but I ran out of time. But I think because there's a lot, lot of podcasts and interviews end up being the same people and the same guests, and you get the same anecdotes. Oh, hold on, one moment. I just said no edits on the podcast. There's no edits, and then there's someone at the door, so I had to stop recording. Sorry about that. So if I was talking about something there, I mean, there's no way I'm remembering that. Let's do some comments. I always enjoy this. This is a nice way for me to find out what has resonated with people from the last episode. And I will remember to do YouTube comments this week, as I always forget. Let's have a look. What's people been saying? Oh, that's the first one's a happy belated birthday. Thanks, Helen. Happy belated birthday. I really enjoyed the Scenic podcast. That's what I was talking about. Thanks, Helen. You've reminded me. Yes, so this idea for this show called Be My Guest is that I will, because all the podcasts end up being the same guests with the same anecdotes, I find. I thought if I just started recording it in public like I did last week, but on a bench somewhere, and then just see if anybody wants to join, if anyone comes past, say, do you want to be my guest? And I just thought when I'm travelling around, I think I spoke about this a little bit last week, but I've been thinking about it even more. Then I'll just start recording, and it might just be me, in which case the listeners will be my guest, or somebody might come and start talking and they want to be on the podcast, in which case they can be my guest. And I think when I go to America, a lot more eccentric people and outgoing people over there and extroverted people. I think that's what I meant to say rather than eccentric. Eccentric people probably in the UK, more extroverted in America. But I think when I'm travelling around... Oh, I booked a holiday this week as well. Going to Florida. My family, my sister's going over there with her children. So they said, oh, if you want to come along. My mum and dad are going as well. So I'm going to go over then. I'm going to spend some time in Tampa. So I could do it there. Just take the camera with me. Start recording. See who I talk to. So yeah, that's Be My Guest. I actually did the artwork this week for it. I can show you a sneak peek if you like. Something I did this week. If you're watching. If not, this is when you can check out Spotify video or YouTube. There. So it's similar artwork to this, but you can see the difference there. So that'll be coming soon. I'm going to be working on that. But, as you're my friend, you get to know first. So, sorry, Helen. Thank you. Helen, happy belated birthday. I really enjoyed the Scenic podcast. On the subject of vinyl records, which was the first one you bought and which was the latest? When I was talking about my presents I got earlier, the books and the Panini sticker album, it wasn't the sticker album. I also got 2 records. That's one of them there, if you can see behind me. Can you see that? I've sort of blocked it out with the chair, but it's the Beatles. The Beatles Help, which actually, I put that up because when I was on the way in the minibus, one of the bands we were listening to were the Beatles, and we were talking about the fact that Thor had met Paul McCartney. Thor, the Norwegian comedian who was sat next to me, had met Paul McCartney. I think Paul McCartney runs like a music school or university, and Thor went there. Anyway, when Paul McCartney goes there for the graduation to hand out the graduation certificates, and Thor said to him, I can play Twist and Shout on the guitar, which I think is a mad thing to have said to him. Of all the things you could say, he just said, I can play. I mean, you've just graduated from music school. But he said, I can play Twist and Shout on the guitar. Now, was Twist and Shout even theirs? I think it was a cover. Have a quick Google of that. Was Twist and Shout a cover? Sorry, if not. So, let's have a look. Was Twist and Shout a cover? Yes, Twist and Shout is a cover. It was written by Phil Medley and Burt Burns and was originally recorded in 1961 by a group called the Top Notes. Right, then the Beatles did it a year later. So, oh no, maybe later than that. 2 years later. Well, yeah. Anyway. So he said I can play Twist and Shout on the guitar, to which Paul McCartney responded, so can I. Lovely response. Anyway, we were talking about the Beatles, and I was thinking, and you know, they're making the films, they're making the 4 different films of each one of them. And talking about Get Back being on Disney a few years ago, and everyone watching that. Anyway, I thought I should learn more about the Beatles. I don't know loads about the Beatles, so I should check them out. And then a few hours later, I'm opening one of their records. So I thought I'd stick it up for today. Sorry, Helen, your comments done very well for content for this. And what was the first one I bought? I remember the first one I had bought for me, which was Jackson C. Frank. If you know Jackson C. Frank, I think the song everyone would maybe know of his, or his most popular, was it The Blues Run the Game? And it's used in quite a few films. In fact, the time I heard about him, the week I'd heard about him, I then went into to my friend's house, and the TV was on, and they were watching something like Gilmore Girls or something, and that was the song that was playing, one of his. But they used one of his songs in the Joker film with the 20, was it 19 one with blimey, what's his name? Oh my goodness! How Joaquin Phoenix. They used one of his songs in that, and Jackson C. Frank. I mean, if you want to listen to his music, it's beautiful, and then read his Wikipedia page. But be warned, really be warned. It's one of the saddest Wikipedia pages you'll read about a person. It's a really unfortunate life, but he got some good songs out of it. But yeah, give that a read if you want. But yeah, Jackson C. Frank. So that was the first one I got bought. Sure, one of the first ones I actually bought. I'm gonna have to go over them all and have a look at what that would be. So I won't do that right now because I've got a collection down here. So yeah, I will. I'll have a think, and maybe I'll remember to answer that next week. My first one. This is Helen now. I'm not suddenly remembering. My first one was in 1985. Blimey, that definitely wasn't mine. I wasn't born. Sorry, Helen. You're not old, but I certainly wasn't able to buy records then. Wow. Not wow. Sorry, just normal. My first one was in 1985. Duran Duran, Rio. And my latest one was a few weeks ago. The Paper Kites. If you go there, I hope you find it. Go where? Where did you buy it? Sorry, maybe you told me where you. My first one was in 1985. Duran Duran, Rio. Duran Duran, Rio is the song, isn't it? Rio, and she dances in the sand. My latest one was a few weeks ago. The Paper Kite. If you go there, I hope you find it. Oh, that's what it's called, isn't it? So it's The Paper Kites is the band, and you've put a full stop. If you go there, I hope you find it. Just realised that's all capitalised. I assume that's their album name. Very cool. Very cool if that is. The Paper Kites. If you go there, I hope you find it. Helen, that was so confusing to read, but I understand what you're doing there now. Thank you. I saw them a few weeks ago in Toronto. Oh, cool. Today I bought my ticket to see Nothing But Thieves next year, also in Toronto. The Killers are awesome, as are Snow Patrol. Great. Sorry, that's a great message, Helen. Apart from the middle bit, which really threw me. But yeah, did you see me in Toronto? I'd like to know that. I was there in December. The Killers are awesome. I think that's what I was talking about last week. And then, as are Snow Patrol. There is an amazing Snow Patrol song called How to Be Dead. I think me and my friend Jamie, best friend Jamie, we used to listen to about years ago. We used to love it. How to Be Dead. It's a great song. Oh, and someone's replied to you, Helen, and someone's put, I'm with you on the Killers and Snow Patrol, Helen. Oh, and then Julie's responded to her question. First single I ever bought was Metal Guru by T-Rex. My dad's talked about T-Rex, but I don't know Metal Guru. This is from Hanny. The bird song in the background of this week's pod was lovely. Thank you. Happy belated birthday. Delighted you spent it in Ireland. I think the C *** was meant to be CR. Yeah. So last week we were talking about oat milk or oats, and someone had said you can buy one without all the C *** in it, and I couldn't work out what they were saying. Thanks. It was CRAP. Love listening to Jake in the wild. Thank you. That could be another podcast name for Outside Pods. Oh yeah, Jake in the wild. Love the idea of Be My Guest. Right, I did talk about it last week then. I couldn't remember if I just had these thoughts to myself or shared them with you. But now you're talking about Be My Guest, and I was talking about it earlier. Yeah, love the idea of Be My Guest. That could be really cool or a really bad idea from an editing perspective. I wasn't even going to edit it. Love both ideas of alternative pods. Thanks, Jake. You made my Monday once again. So it's funny because I've had this thought all week about Be My Guest. Clearly, I've had more of a thought last week than I remembered because I was still going over the idea, but clearly I said it all out loud. I must have been having that thought live as I was in the park. And then now I'm just sort of, yeah, right, great, thanks. Well, I'm glad I told you. Sorry I told you twice. Harvey, I think C *** was CRAP. Yep, thanks, Harvey. Thanks, everyone. But in my opinion, Califia oat milk is the best choice for a good double oat experience. This is, if you're new to this, with double oaters. It's people who have porridge with oat milk, so it's oat on oats, oats mixed in oats, and then it's become a bit of a debate, it turns out, about which brand we use. Agreed, Califia is also tasty, just depends if you want to avoid the oil content. That's someone else. They're getting into it, getting into the weeds of the whole which oat milk we use. What a middle-class podcast. Laura May, happy belated birthday. Thanks for cheering me up. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Laura. That's so nice. And Laura, I don't know if your username says May 16th. Is that when your birthday is, or is it Laura May 16 is like just the username? Or maybe that was your birthday recently as well. Jackie Nelson, happiest of birthdays, Jake from Dublin. Thanks, Jackie. Oh, that's so nice. And then you've done a cake and the other celebration, which is it's almost like two jellyfish, but they look like they're at a party. I've never quite understood what that one's supposed to be. Steve, happy birthday, not belated, 4 days ago. So it would have been just about right, maybe the day after. Happy birthday. Very brave recording in the wild. Good work. Thanks, Steve. I'm about to be even more brave with this next idea then. We'll see how that goes. Julie, love the Alfresco podcast, Jake. Be My Guest idea is great. I'm so sorry I spoke about it 2 weeks in a row, but you can tell I'm excited about it. At least this week I had the artwork to show you. You might have to be careful with your choice of location. Well, whatever works for content. I could put myself out there. Read the Plenish oat milk. Apologies, I won't repeat the word in polite company. And we're all very polite here. Substitute rubbish or additives. This is Julie. Julie was the one who put the C ***, and I didn't know what was happening. Lots of others have oil and other stuff in. The Plenish standard one just has water and a bit of salt. Avoid the barista version if you want to avoid coconut oil. I'm allergic to coconut, so I probably will. But I love Bounties. But I can't have them. Just found the GAPM episode recorded before the Spurs and Arsenal. GAPM. So Julie was the one last week who said C ***, and I couldn't figure it out. And now I'm reading, just found the GAPM episode recorded before the Spurs and Arsenal matches. One for the Mondayers to watch. See you Friday. I don't know what GAPM is. Goals, assists per match. GA. I'm going to try and Google this and see if I can figure out what it is. Julie, you can't use stuff like that with me because I find just if people use the actual words confusing enough without clues. GAPM. I'm Googling it. Okay. I'm going to put GA. Got a problem, mate. I've Googled it. Thank you. Right. I did a podcast called Got a Problem, Mate. In fact, what you should go and do is go and give them a nice review. I did a podcast there with Joey and Bilal, and we talked about Tottenham and Arsenal on it. That's it. Go and give them a nice review. Maybe in the comments say that you're a Mondayer. Say that you're a friend of Jake's. That's what we should do, that, shouldn't we? In the pod, if I want to guest podcast, go and give it a nice review. And in reviews, just put that you're either a Monday or a friend of Jake's or something like that, just so we can, start spreading the love. I did a What the F podcast, which is about EF, What the EF, about epilepsy. So if you want to give that a search, I shared it a bit on Instagram. When you do the share, it's like a retweet bit on Instagram. So you should be able to find that. Or if you go on what I've been tagged in on Instagram, I think I should be tagged in it. But I was talking all about epilepsy on there if you want to listen to that. What the F. And Julius put, see you Friday. And it is Friday. So you're coming to the show. See you there. Lisa Miller. Re-Countdown. So Lisa was on Countdown. And I said, tell me more about that. And she's told us more about that. Re-Countdown. I played a guy who won all 8 of his shows. You're allowed to stay on for 8 shows. Then usually TV, you come back for the finals. But I was the only one he didn't completely wipe the floor with. Good work, Lisa. I think I scored 61 and he scored 70. Good, 70 something. It's online. I think I am the only Lisa Miller to have appeared. I got nervous and invented some words. Oh, I did that. I did catch the countdown. And I think I got one word right, but I'd spelt it wrong because I was sat next to John Richardson and he looked down at my notes and he was like, what is that? And I was like, oh no. The correct letters were there, but I'd spelt it incorrect, so I got away with it. And another one, I did make up a word, I think. I got nervous and invented some words. I intend to appear again next year as I want a teapot. You have to wait 10 years to apply again. Hope you have a lovely, but 10 years, that's wild, isn't it? Why is it so long? Especially with a lot of people watching it. There's a lot of older people as well. 10 years is a long time. They're not going to remember. Imagine most of the people watching that show. You could go on there 6 months later, they're not going to remember. Not that you were not memorable, Lisa Miller, but, the demographic. I used to love watching that at my nan's. I'd go and stay at my nan's when I was ill off school, and she used to love Countdown. So I thought of her when I went on it. She would have loved that. I really liked the filming in a field too this week. It was a nice vibe. I like the idea of you filming the pod out and about. I love that. I spoke about that so much more than I realised. That's very nice. Right. Let me just... because I stopped recording, now I've gone back, I can't actually remember how long this episode's been. So I know I've done 18 minutes since the break. I don't know what I did before. So if this is suddenly shorter than any other or super long, I'm sorry. I've completely lost track. Also, next door having some builder work done. So sorry if you can hear that. Right. Let me go on to YouTube. Your videos. I go to the one of me in the park. We've got some comments. Here we go. Star Delia. Happy birthday, Jake. Thank you. Totally unrelated, but I've been listening/watching your podcast for quite a while. And I've only just noticed your tattoo on your arm. If you're comfortable, is there a story behind it? P.S. I think Be Rude Not To podcast is a great idea. So all that other stuff about be my guest, and then suddenly... I think Be Rude Not To would be, for this, it'd be a good Patreon name, wouldn't it? Because it's sort of like Patreon. It feels a bit more Be Rude. Oh, gets a Patreon. Be Rude Not To. I think I'll do that. So yeah, my tattoo's on my arm. It's just on my wrist. It's the name of my nephew passed away. So I got his name there on my wrist. I've only got one tattoo. That's the only one. I think the only one I'll ever get. I think unless Richard Parker, maybe Richard Parker's paw print is something else I thought about. And I think somebody actually messaged this podcast once and said that there was a way you can get their print by putting some sort of film over their paw and dipping it in something so that you could you could collect on a bit of paper and go to so maybe his paw print. But yeah, that's my nephew Mikey. He passed away. So my sister's got his mum's got his footprint tattooed on her foot. So whenever she walks around, he's there walking around with her. But yeah, I've only got one, and when I got one, people kept saying you'll get loads now. No. So yeah, it's one that I like it because I wanted it somewhere enough that people could see. That meant that I would like talk about him because then people would ask. But it's just hidden enough that some people wouldn't know I had one. So yeah, that was for Mikey. So yeah, I've just got one just on my wrist there. And then sometimes, yeah, I forget. Sometimes it sort of makes me jump when I see it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got a tattoo. Because I don't think people would know. But yeah, there's there. And then we go and celebrate his birthday every year, 12th of March. And then my niece had her children, and they were born on his birthday. So his will be his nephew and niece. So they were born on their uncle's birthday. Love the beautiful. So thanks, Star Delia. And then Angela Lunsford. Love the beautiful field view, and it's fun seeing a bit of where you are when you travel. Yeah, I like that. I first did it in New Zealand when I did it in the theatre I was performing in. So I feel like it's nice when I'm travelling around. Happy birthday, Jakey. Jakey. And you look great. Thank you. And so does the grass. And the sitting on it. Island suits you. Thank you. That's very nice, Isabella. Happy birthday, Jakey. And you look great. And so does the grass and the sitting on it. That's a nice sentence. Island suits you. Thank you. Yeah, it felt really nice to be there. Felt like I got a lot of fresh air. Happy birthday, Jake. Thank you. This is so nice. Happy birthday. Be rude not to, please. I think it's the best. I love that's how funny. The Spotify comments were all about be my guest, and YouTube really likes be rude not to. And then Tattoo Tarjas put congrats, Jake. And I'm always fascinated by emojis. Congrats, Jake. Which I found when I went to Sweden. I went to a music festival in Sweden years ago, and I became Facebook friends with a few people I met there. And I realised on my birthday they used to write congrats. So that's sort of what people say rather than happy birthday, I think. So maybe tattoo you from Europe somewhere. Congrats, Jake. 4 heart emojis. I'm not sure if you were meant to do the next one, but the next one was the 3 water splashes. Water sort of squirting. Was that meant to be there? 4 hearts, 1 water squirt, then a birthday cake, then a croissant, then the teapot, then the 2 beers cheers in, and the 2 glasses of champagne cheers in. It's sort of I'm wondering if the squirting water on the croissant was supposed to be there, unless you're French, explains the croissant. But thank you. I'm just always slightly fascinated by the emojis people use. Like most recent, let's all, for the comments this week, what's your most used emoji? So if you go into there, what's your top line? And then, in fact, your comments can just be, all you have to do is hit them, and that's your comment. My top line is heart, black cat, and then that one with the tongue hanging out the side, like crazy eyes. The melting face, where I go, it would be something like when would I use that? I'd use it if like I'm a little bit annoyed about something. So it would be like the cleaner just left, and I've just spilt my dinner all over the kitchen floor. And then it's like melting face emoji. And then the other one is the eyes looking to the down to the bottom and sort of tearing up, like if someone said something nice to me. The other one is the monkey covering his eyes. And then the other one's the sun. Yeah, that's my top line. What's your top line emojis? Right, I better go. I've got to go and do this gig. Gigs, plural. Right. That was lovely. Good to chat. sorry I bored you all again with my idea, but you can tell I'm excited about it. I'm just going to slip my Birkenstocks back on, and I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and get ready to go. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your comments. I'm off to Leeds this week. If you live around Leeds or in Leeds, I'm doing a gig on Wednesday night for epilepsy. There's a link in my bio on my Instagram page that's there. If you want to come along to that, I'll be there. Getting the train up. I think that's the plan anyway. And then, and the World Cup starts this week. World Cup starts Thursday. Timing's a bit crazy with America. It's a little bit annoying because usually you get to watch like 3 or 4 games a day, but it's going to be a bit tougher. But looking forward to that. Love the World Cup. Who doesn't? So I'm going to do my 2 gigs tonight. Got the wedding tomorrow. Got a gig on Sunday, which I might regret putting in after the wedding. But anyway. And then some fun, exciting meetings on Monday and Tuesday. So I'll let you know how I get on. But thanks as always. And, what do I usually say? Thank you and as always. I'll try that again and cleaner because I was doing well until that point. Thank you for listening and for watching. And as always, that's the one. I'll see you next Monday. Bye.